Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Tears here, and welcome back to my Illumination reviews leading up to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And today I'm going to be doing a review on Despicable Me 2. So, Despicable Me 2 is the second installment in the Despicable Me franchise and the fourth Illumination movie. Came out in the year 2013. Oh, yes, happy 10th anniversary to this movie, by the way. And it's directed by Pierre Coffin and Chris Renard and stars Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, Benjamin Bratt, Miranda Crossgrove, Russell Brand, Ken Jeong, Steve Coogan, Elsie Fisher, and others. And basically, the plot it tells the story of basically Gru, who is raising his new daughters. He's an official father now, and he's turned from went from a super villain to a super spy when Lucy takes Gru to the AVL to discuss a new threat that has happened, and basically that's where when Gru gets a new job as an AVL and becomes a spy to investigate this new threat that happens. And this is when Gru discovers El Macho, who is disguised himself as a Mexican restaurant owner, and no one would believe him. So Gru and Lucy must, discover that guy's El Macho and find out what his plan is. And, and while doing that, Gru pretty much is in love with Lucy, but he doesn't want to admit him. And then he tries to take care of the three kids, but then Margot falls in love with his new boyfriend. Now Gru must prevent that. So yeah, basically to summarize the plot in simpler words, it's about Gru who's trying to balance his life between working and being a father. So yeah, Despicable Me 2 is actually a fan favorite Despicable Me movie. I remember when this movie first came out, yeah, people were praising this as a film that is better than the first one. Although yes, there is still like a lot of people who say that the first one is better. I've heard some people say that Despicable Me 2 is better than the first, and I can totally see why. I remember when I first saw this movie in theaters, but it was such an interesting theatrical experience because literally like when I was falling in line to go to the ticket booth to see this movie, I literally missed like all our showings. No, like, not really. I missed like two showings and I had to go to the third one. But like the line took like an hour. Yeah, imagine imagine falling in line like for an hour for a theme park ride for a ride at Disneyland. That is basically what it felt like watching this big movie too. And yeah, I actually at the time I actually didn't really know that Despicable Me was popular. I did see the first one in theaters. And I rewatched it a few more times, but then I actually didn't really know that was popular. I mean, yes, I love Despicable Me too, but I actually always thought the first movie's better. Yes, maybe watching Despicable Me 2 in theaters, I said that the first was better. No, I said that this was better than the first, but then like later on when I rewatched Despicable Me 1, I instantly realized that that the first one was better, and I wasn't even a critic at that time yet. So yeah, and like recently, I was actually a little harsh in this movie. I called this movie painfully average and kind of overrated. I know there are some people who say that this movie is actually bad and mid, but I found this movie to be mid for such a long time. But maybe that's probably maybe because I just thought about it and I didn't even get a chance to rewatch it. I had a lot of problems with this movie, and yeah, I always thought that this was inferior to the first one, but I always thought that this was one of the better Illumination movies, especially in comparison to other Illumination disasters. In fact, this was the last movie where Illumination was actually tried until like the following movies where Illumination just stopped trying. Well, for like Illumination just stopped trying for 10 years straight. So yeah, now that I've rewatched Despicable Me 2, well, I did set a low. I did lower my expectations. Going into this rewatch, hoping that maybe I could appreciate it a bit more. Now, after rewatching Despicable Me 2, what do I think of it now? Actually, I liked it a lot more now. I thought it was better than what I initially thought. Yeah, I think this is a good movie. Is it a great movie? No. I mean, but as a Despicable Me sequel, I think this is a really strong Despicable Me sequel. I think there are just some stuff, some qualities that this movie lacks. Lacks that there are a lot of problems I had. In fact, maybe I should get into the problems now. And yeah, I'll just start by saying I still think this is inferior to the first Despicable Me. But yeah, now let's get into like what my flaws in the movie. I think the story is not good. Yeah, this is not a good story. It's such a weak story. Now don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the idea of turning this into a spy film because literally I'm a huge fan of spy. Action is my favorite genre, and I'm a huge fan of James Bond. In fact, I like Cars 2 because of the spy stuff. Yeah, sure, Cars 2 is pretty bad, but I literally I like Cars 2 for all the spy stuff. I know that Cars 2 is now a well-made film, but just have fun with it. Cars 2 is a movie to have fun. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Even though I hate the fact that Matrix the main character, that's just stupid. But yeah, how do I say this? But I think the problem with Despicable Me 2 is that there's such a lack of spy stuff, and the plot is really unfocused because I think this movie would have been a lot better if it focused more on the spy stuff, but no, instead it focuses on the romance. Yeah, it's way too heavy on it's way too much on the romance, which the romance is forgivable if it, like I understand Illumination like make put side plots in the film. I mean, the first Despicable Me movie had a lot of side plots, but it was executed very well because it didn't take away the focus. The romance subplot in this movie literally took away the focus, and we didn't really see enough spy stuff. It was like most of the time I was just focusing so much on Gru simping on Lucy. No, I have no problem with Gru and Lucy. I'll talk more about that later. And then Gru is an okay character. I still kind of like him. He's still a great main character, but in this one I don't think he was a really good dad. Yeah, I mean maybe as you know as a character for the main plot, yes, he's good, but I think as a dad, I'm sorry, but I was not really impressed with Gru being a dad. I mean, there is some really great qualities with him, but most of the time he's just overprotective because he's just so overprotective. Like because of Margot dating this guy who just met. And by the way, yeah, the Margot and Antonio's romance is probably the worst thing about this film because, my God, the like probably one of the most unrealistic romance. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know you're gonna be like, oh, but it's an animated kids movie. Not everything has to be realistic. But here's the thing, I mean, you're literally showing your kids how dating works. Yeah, I mean, maybe kids would be like, ooh, I want to date someone. But like that's not how dating works. I mean, literally, Margot just sees up this random boy, like random handsome boy walking around, and Margot just says and say, ooh, I'm gonna date him, and then they just instantly date just by staring at each other. Like, I'm sorry, but that is not how you do romance. I mean, you can't just I mean, how do I say this? You can't just instantly date someone who you just randomly see. I mean, to me, I see a lot of hot girls in the mall, but that doesn't mean I should just go approach them and say, hey, will you be my girlfriend? Will you date me? I mean, that's not how it works. And yeah, I mean, it hasn't improved ever since. It was just such a waste of time because eventually Margot broke up with Antonio because Antonio just cheated on her by dating someone else. And by the way, that girl who Antonio dated like later on when Margot broke him up, like she looks like she's like 10 years old or something. Like is Antonio a pedophile? Yeah, I don't really care for Antonio that much. He was such a waste of a character. But I don't like how Gru just hates Antonio so much just because he looks like a he just because of his looks. He said, oh, I don't like his looks. He looks too handsome. Maybe he's a bad guy. Like that is stupid. That is just so dumb. And yeah, I mean, I do like the Guru Lucy romance, but I think but I don't like how that still like took away that still took away the focus from it. The humor is just like the first one. The humor is hit or miss, but I think it's less I think the humor wasn't stepped up in the first film. I don't remember what jokes I laughed at least Despicable Me. At least with the first Despicable Me, the jokes in that film were really memorable. Like especially that joke. I still can't stop thinking about that joke. I was laughing like super hard on, like when Margot went inside this closet of sharp objects, of sharp stuff, and then blood just spills, and then well, what they think is blood, and then like make and Margot Agnes thought Edith dies, but actually she isn't. I mean, that was a clever joke. And the thing is, I actually think the bad jokes are more memorable than the good jokes. Yeah, some of the jokes in this movie got me really annoyed. Especially considering that these are jokes that Illumination are going to overuse later on in their films. One perfect example that really annoyed me is the fart gun. Like, I'm sorry, but Illumination, what were you thinking with the fart gun? And why is the fart gun like such a trend nowadays? I mean, so many people are buying that fart gun. I mean, it's just kind of stupid. I mean, literally, there's a scene where Dr. Nefari was going to retire or quote unquote, or I think resign. I guess that's the right word to use. Well, eventually he does come back, but when Dr. Nefario like resigns to work for someone else, the minions literally salute make a salute on Nefario by like using fart guns, like a lot of fart guns. And my god, like I'm sorry, that is crazy. One of my least favorite scenes in the movie. And yeah, the fart gun could use to be used, but I'll acknowledge that the fart gun actually did play a significant role. Like how, that the fart gun was used to defeat El Macho. I get that, but you didn't need to use it too much. And minions hit each other a lot, which is gonna be our repetitive joke, and it's just not funny. I mean, it already got old easily in this one. Yeah, the minions are hit or miss. I mean, the minions are not bad in this, but they're starting to become terrible characters. Like you can clearly see that they're starting to like get worse. And yeah, I mean sometimes they're good. I guess I actually like the song they sing. I forgot how it goes. Like I think it's like da 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 like I mean I actually like that was actually pretty catchy. But then, like at the end of the movie, like this minion was singing like his song, like what that says underwear, like that was really cringe. That not funny. And then they sang what the minion language of YMCA, and it was not bad, I guess, but it was kind of, but I think that we can all agree the original YMCA is better. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say for the humor. Well, there isn't as much comedy. It does take itself a bit more seriously, but yeah, I mean, there's still like some kid friendly jokes in there. Oh yeah, also some of the character designs of horror are pretty bad. I would say that overall this has better animation than the first film. A huge step up, and I'd say probably the best animation from Illumination before Mario, of course. But yeah, you guys probably remember that I really don't like the animation in the first film. It's really outdated. But this one is an improvement. The major characters are designed better. Like Groot has a better design. His teeth is thankfully less creepy than it was in the first film. The girls probably have the best character design in this movie. I love their designs. It's so upgraded. Lucy, the new character, I'll talk more about her later. Has a really good character design. And oh yeah, and also some others. I guess the background is nice. I love the looks of the mall. The scenery is good. I mean the purple design minions look really good. I love them. That is in fact. I'll talk more about the purple minions later on in the review when I get the things I praise about it. But then some characters have really like bad anime are badly designed. Like for example, Silas, like the anti league anti villain league boss. Yeah, his design is weird. I mean, especially his face, it looks so weird. Um, Jillian and Shannon. Oh my goodness. Jillian and Shannon are by far the worst characters in the movie. Oh my god, I cannot stand them. Like, their designs, they don't like they remind me of the Addams Family 2019 animation. Only this time this one came first, and I hate them. So I always hate them. Why did Jillian and Shannon need to be in this movie? Yeah, they did not need to be in this movie in my opinion. Also, there were a few cringe scenes, like, there's a scene where in the beginning where Gru is pretends to be a princess. That was cringe, and also the scene where Lucy sees a lot of Gru heads on the airplane. That was weird. But those are just those what I just said are rather nitpicks. Okay, I think I said enough negatives. But now let's get to the stuff that I actually really like about this film. Um, this movie's enjoyable, I guess. I mean, surprisingly, I was never bored. I was expecting to get bored like somewhere in the middle, but like all the scenes in this movie are actually really enjoyable. They're so entertaining, and it can be at times it can feel a little more mature than the first film. Yeah, let's talk about Lucy first. I think Lucy is a great character. At times, like she's definitely one of the standouts in the film, in my opinion. I love how yeah I mean I just love how charming Lucy is. I know I know I said Lucy is annoying. I totally disagree. I don't think Lucy's annoying at all. I think she's a very charming character. And I think her chemistry with Gru is one of the absolute best things about this film. So the best things about this film, I absolutely love, like, their chemistry. You really feel that. And when Agnes said that, when Gru and Lucy would be perfect together, and Agnes wanted Lucy as her mom, you already instantly feel their chemistry, and I really bought that. Elma Cho is the greatest Despicable Me villain of all time. Period. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I mean, I love El Macho. Yeah, he's the best one. He's better than Vector, and certainly 1 million times better than Scarlet Overkill, Bell Bottom, and Balthazar Brat. Yeah, I mean, El Macho is such a threatening and ruthless villain. And also, yes, I mean, it may be a little too obvious that he's a twist villain. Um, I think there were some. I think he shouldn't really have been. Maybe he shouldn't have been like either he shouldn't have been treated as the twist villain, or maybe Guru shouldn't have been said, oh, that guy looks like El Macho, and then like, or I you know what, I think it'll been better if he wasn't really a twist villain, because I mean, you already saw him as a villain. Like, there's a scene where, like, Guru and Lucy like snuck into El Macho's restaurant, and then El Macho came in, and then said who's there, and then later he said he would literally threaten threaten whoever's there. And then yeah, that scene already that scene that El Macho is that and that the Mexican restaurant guy is El Macho, and yeah, I'm not sure how, but like, but it's just a nitpick anyway. I think El Macho is an awesome villain. He's very ruthless, especially in the climax where he turns into a monster, and then literally like turns into a monster. My god, that was probably my favorite scene in the movie, in my opinion. Oh wait, actually, scratch that. My favorite scene in the movie was when Gru was telling Lucy El Macho's backstory. My God, that the backstory is awesome. Like, we need an El Macho was spin off. Like, Illumination should do an El Macho spin off. Why did we need a Minion spin off? But no El Macho spin off. No El Macho spin off. I mean, that would have been awesome. Imagine how awesome that would be. Yeah. Yeah, El Macho is awesome. I would say he was the best that Illumination villain for a long time, but now Bowser took his place, and it's not even close. Yeah, but El Macho is my second thing. If I were to rank the Illumination villains, El Macho is the only one I like personally, but I would say number one is El Macho, number two is Scarlet Overkill, number three is Vector, number four is Bell Bottom, and Balthazar Brad is the worst. I'll explain more about Scarlet and Balthazar in my reviews of their respective movies. Because I definitely have things to say about them. and also all the girls were still the standout of the movie. Now I will admit that Margot is kind of a step down from the first film. From the first movie, because of that, the boyfriend of Antonio Subla kind of ruined Margot's potential. I I'm not sure who's my favorite girl at this point. I would say all three girls are equally my favorite, but at this point, I don't know if Margot actually deserves to be my favorite. In this one, my favorite character in Despicable Me 2 would have to go to Agnes. I mean, I love Agnes. Agnes. I mean, first of all, I love how they took away that unicorn obsession thingy. I mean, I don't have a problem with Agnes obsessing over unicorns, but like in this one, I mean, I think it feels a lot better when they don't go for that, but instead they go for Agnes trying to support Gru as her real father. Even though it's they're technically adopted, Agnes has I mean Agnes was the herself was the heart of this movie because she I mean she literally wanted some father and daughter time with Gru, and because Agnes is really passionate about Gru, she loves Gru the most, and yeah, so she was actually perfect, and she was also so desperate to have Lucy as her mom, and yeah, so I think Agnes was done perfectly in this one. And you know, thinking about it, I'm gonna say it right now. I think Agnes is the best. Agnes is probably my favorite of the girls now. If I were to rank the girls, I'd say Agnes number one, Margot Edith number two, and Edith number three. And speaking of Edith, like she was much better here than the first movie. They gave her an actual personality this time. Like we actually got to know more about Edith that we didn't know about the first film, and she's such a badass. Like there's a scene where like the purple minions would attack the house, and then they come for the three girls. We see Margot and Agnes scared, but Edith isn't afraid of it. Isn't afraid. Like she literally was about to attack the minion until Doctor Fire saved them. So I'm glad to see that from Edith. And yeah. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. Oh yeah, let's talk about the evil minions now. The evil purple minions. That will be my last point I will make before I end this whole thing. Oh yeah, by the way, but before I do that, just quick shout out to the song "Happy" from Pharrell Williams. I like that song. It's a classic, and it's better than "Let It Go." I think "Happy" I should have won over "Let It Go," but my favorite song on Twice 30 Years for the First Time in Forever, the reprise version, um, the one with Anna Elsa's and the one in the Ice Castle. Yeah, for the First Time Forever is the best, but um, Happy is certainly one of the better songs in 2013. But yeah, the evil minions are literally the superior version of minions. Yeah. It kind of sad that illumination like through the evil minion idea in the trash can. Like we would have saw more of the evil minions. Like why not make an evil minion spin-off? Yeah, I mean I love the evil minions. They're so threatening. They're literally not annoying at all, and they're actually scary. Like literally, what like um one of the purple minions literally made a jump scare. Made a huge jump scare. That's through the window. Remember that scene when Margot was looking out looking out in the window, and then the evil minion made a huge jump scare. Yeah, that happened. And actually, thinking about it, as I'm recording this, I think that is my favorite scene in the entire film. Like that jump scare. That was brilliant. And Illumination should do more like that, but no, they just like to keep their movies safe and child friendly. So yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention another flaw in this. Another cringe scene. There's a scene where David Maiden was simping on Lucy, and then and then he dreamed of of a romantic relationship between him and Lucy. I know that's meant to be a joke, but that was weird. But also it's rather nitpick because I don't think that scene is meant to be taken seriously. So overall, Despicable Me 2, it's a great Despicable Me movie. Although it is not a great movie on its own, mainly because of the writing being too unfocused. It couldn't really decide if it wanted to be a spy movie or a romance movie. And it does hit or miss jokes. And some mixed bag aspects, like some characters having bad bad character designs and some characters that didn't need to be in it. Also, Floyd Eagleson, he Floyd Eagleson did not need to be in this movie in my opinion, but the movie definitely makes up for it with such an such an entertaining experience. It was very entertaining. And I love the girls, and I love Gru and Lucy's relationship. Lucy's a perfect addition and is one of the best Illumination characters. So yeah, with that said, I'm gonna give Despicable Me 2 7 out of 10. Now I know that this was the rating I initially gave the first Despicable Me movie but in my review, but nowadays I give Despicable Me 1 an 8 out of 10. I'll explain more about it in my Illumination ranking. So also for my review of Despicable Me 2, once again, happy 10th anniversary to this movie. What is your opinion on this movie? Do you agree with my opinion that this is a solid sequel but a step up for the first movie? Or do you think that this movie is better than the first one and your favorite Illumination movie? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my rant on Minions. Yep, just to let you guys know, this is the last time I'm gonna be kind to Illumination until Mario, because literally from here on out, the Illumination literally sank on the bottom of the ship where they literally just stopped trying and they, yeah, I'll explain more about it in my mini thread. So yeah, bye guys.